Welcome to the Chronically Offline show, and today I have a guest, a good friend of mine called Gord. So if you would like to introduce yourself, Gord, and tell us about any upcoming plans you have, what have you studied, I know you've done some courses on stuff, haven't you, and that, so just divulge into it, mate, honestly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hi, I'm Gord. I'm a tarot reader. I started a business called Tarot with Gord, which is where I offer tarot readings to people. I also teach people to read tarot for themselves. I've started a course and a membership called Simply Tarot, which is all about how you can build a relationship with your tarot cards. But you probably don't even know what tarot is if you're listening to this, because a lot of people that I come across have no idea what the fuck I do and think that I just shuffle cards, maybe do close up magic or something like that. So I guess maybe in the course of this podcast, I might talk a bit about what tarot is and stuff, if
Yeah, of course you
that's
can.
where the conversation goes.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, I got into tarot like many people did, sort of with lockdown, getting into new hobbies and new side hustles and things like that. A friend of mine was giving some readings to a few of us just before lockdown, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll give it a go." And they gave me a reading, and it was sort of felt kind of accurate, but I didn't really think too much of it. And then you know how like in between the lockdowns, we were finally allowed to like visit people
Mm.
for a brief period of like a week. So during that time, I visited my um, parents, went down to stay with my parents for a couple of days, and I was at my friend Emma's house. And me and Emma were not entirely sober. I'll put it that way.
Mm.
And she was like, "Do you want to have a tarot reading, Gordon?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So we were sort of sat on her bed. She got the cards out, laid me a few out, did the interpretation, sort of read from the little guidebook that she had. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty helpful." And she was like, "Why don't you try giving me a reading?" And she had a spare tarot deck. So I was like, okay, sure. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing here. But I shuffled the cards. I drew a few out, and I looked in the little guidebook for what the interpretations were. And I read the interpretation, and then I sort of said to her, "Oh, this maybe could mean this for you, or it could be relating to this."
Mm.
I can't even remember what I said, to be honest. All I know is that she said, "Gord, you're actually pretty good at this."
Mm.
And she gave me the deck that I'd been using because it was her spare deck. She gave that to me. And then we went back into lockdown, and I had nothing better to do than practice. And so practice is what I did. And I practiced and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. I put it in my Tinder bio, which was fantastic for getting people to practice on. I was getting requests left, right, and center from people. But it completely destroyed my dating prospects. And I think after I put I created a TikTok for my tarot readings, and when I put that um, handle in my
Mm.
in my Tinder bio, I ended up getting banned from Tinder because I was advertising, which wasn't so great. But it did lead to me starting my business, which I've been running now since 2022. So for
Mm.
4 and a bit years. I've done thousands of tarot readings over the years for thousands of different people,
Mm.
whether that be through live streams, through recordings, through conversations like this on a video call, or in person. And I absolutely fucking love it because these cards are able to help us to vocalize things that are going on under the surface in our lives. It's such a privilege to be able to do that with other people. I know you've had readings
Mm.
for me in the past,
Yes.
and you've at least told me that they were helpful.
Yes.
Whether that was just because you're a friend or not, I don't know. But um, yeah, does that sort of answer? I don't even know if you asked me a question, but
No, that
does
sounds
that
good.
give?
No, that's really interesting that you told us about that. I appreciate that. No, I mean, you're the only person I'll go to for tarot readings. I know it's been some time, um, but like I know my mum was like, "Oh, is he? There's this tarot reader in this area," and I was like, "No, I only go to one person. Thank you." But no, you're dead good at what you do. I know some people are skeptical about it, which is each to their own. I think everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, long as people are respectful. Personally, that to me is fine. I just find it, for me, tarot, I just find it more interesting than anything. Yeah, really. So, do you want to tell us how you've been getting on? Because you moved to like doing stuff online now, haven't you? So, do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always had a bit of an online presence, and it's gone good and bad. There's been definitely highs and lows throughout all of it. I started out when I first started reading tarot, was very big on doing tarot on TikTok, and did a lot of readings through TikTok Live and stuff like that, which was in many ways a baptism of fire. It definitely helped me to come across a lot of people, really hone my style and my ethics, and like what I will read for, what I won't read for, which has become quite a big part of my brand, to be honest. Is I think of myself as an ethical reader. I don't think every reader is ethical
No.
in what they do, which is a real shame. But yeah, but doing it through a medium like TikTok Live, as I know you've had experience with as well, it's a medium that it can really get to you. And so after about a year or two of doing it through TikTok, I ended up having to come off the app for a couple of years because it just destroyed my mental health for various different reasons. And so during that time, I took some time away from obviously being online, and I threw myself into doing things in person, which I think was the right decision for me and where I was at. And I built up a really nice in-person practice. I had regulars coming to me, and I say regulars, with a tarot reading, as you've sort of hinted at, it's not something that people get sort of every week or every month. And in fact, actually, if people do get them that frequently, often it's a sign that there's something up there. There's something not quite right there in terms of why they're so dependent on it. But I do have some regulars that connect with me. I've got one actually who, even when I went to sort of solely focusing on in person, they've continued to book online readings with me for a while. They are a vicar in a church somewhere. I'm not too sure where, but somewhere in the UK. But they tell me that I'm their spiritual director, that the readings that we have together, even though we have them maybe once every 6 months or so, but it really helps them to ground themselves and find their practice. But yeah, so I was working in person for a long time, for about 2 years or so, really focused on building my in-person things up. But while I was doing that, so another one of my passions, aside from tarot, is I love anything technical. I used to do sound engineering, so I love microphones and wiring things up and all of that kind of stuff. And I love playing around with computers and coding and stuff like that. So I built my website, which when I moved to working more in person, as I'm sure you've come across, you hear about how you need to sort of market your business and you try various different things. I was advertising with Yell for a bit. Have you heard of Yell? The yellow pages type thing. And I'm a sucker for, if somebody calls me up with a deal, I'm so good at just saying yes to them, even though they're really not very helpful. So I signed up for a free account with Yell when I first started doing in-person readings. And then I get the call from the Yell sales team, and they convinced me to buy some premium ad spaces for the Manchester area where I live.
Yeah.
Which basically meant that anybody who searches for tarot readings on Yell, I'm the top result that comes up. So I did that. It was about 40 quid a month or something like that. And I started to see some results. And then they were like, oh, well, you need to expand your reach. They called me up again about 3 months later, and they started expanding the thing. And me being a sucker said yes. So in the end, about 6 months into me doing tarot readings in person, I had about £200 worth of adverts for the entirety of the UK
Jesus.
advertising my readings to try and get some. Like the guy on the phone was like, "Oh yeah, well, you can use it for like online readings and all of this stuff." It didn't fucking work, but
No.
Yale locked me into a year-long contract, so I tried to make the most of it,
Yeah.
and I focused on building my search engine optimization on my website to try and get my website onto in front of more people so that I could get more bookings. But that didn't fucking work because the market for tarot readings in a given area isn't exactly huge.
Yeah.
And what I needed to do to move the needle, I just wasn't able to do. But what I found was that the more of SEO work I was doing, I was attracting more and more people all over the world for an area of tarot that I, um, for a long time, didn't feel like I was qualified to talk about, and that is teaching tarot.
Mm.
Because obviously, if you build up a skill, people are obviously going to naturally want to learn that skill. And I was doing what I saw a lot of other tarot readers doing. I was putting sort of like card meaning pages on my website and shit like that. And that was where people were going. And I looked at my Google Analytics and I saw that like 90% of my website traffic was in anywhere apart from the UK. I had people in Australia, in America, in Canada, in India, in Japan, all over watching my website. And so I made the decision about a year ago now to reinvest all of that money that I was spending with Yale onto my social media. And I started doing more social media and to focus on really building up my social media presence, which is TikTok, and focus on teaching people tarot through short form video like TikTok videos, Instagram reels, etc. And that has transformed my business in the last few months. I was working in a shop up until the start of this year, and then the shop got closed. And I was left with a choice of, do I go back to just trying to do in-person readings in a yoga studio that I just don't really get the clientele that I'm looking for. I really fucking love doing tarot readings for people who are skeptical, who don't think that tarot has any help whatsoever. I love that. Their minds a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really getting that when I was doing things in yoga studios. When I was in the shopping center, it was great because you just had random people walking off the street and you had people that were like persuaded to do it. We'd do it and they'd be like fucking hell, that was incredible. Yeah. And I'd have like big, burly, like proper Mancunian men, like pouring their hearts out to me. And it was absolutely beautiful. But that shop closed. And so I was sort of at this dilemma of what do I do? And I made the choice to throw myself into trying to do things online, trying to build up my teaching business. And it was a really tough kind of 6 months, pardon me, really fucking tough 6 months trying to get that off the road. But now I'm seeing more success than I'd ever dreamed of, and that's just amazing. So
I love that.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No,
I've kind of waffled again.
No, it was really good again. Yeah, for answering that. No, I'm dead proud of you, God. I know I'm proud of yourself and that, you know, because it's a lot. It is a lot.
Thank you.
That's all right. Sorry, what are you doing? Are we sitting?
Getting some
what do you want?
tongue action with your doggy there.
He is an attention seeker, aren't you? Yes. You are. Do you want a tarot reading, dog? Oh, you're getting treats tonight. I see your future is bright. So
can't say I've ever read tarot for a dog, I have to say.
You will get castrated in 18 months.
I can't say I've ever talked about castration either, to be honest, in a reading. Actually, no, I probably have, to be fair. That is the kind of thing that I would bring up as an example or something. I do sometimes use weird analogies. I
did relate to what you said earlier, to be fair, when you were on about saying if you didn't feel like you were qualified to talk about it. Like, so I mentioned in my like last episode with like Buddhism that like, I mean, I think I set the conversation to you, to be fair, that like because I'm white.
I think I
It's
saw it.
not my
Yeah.
place to really talk on it, but that's not how like Buddhism works though, because it's just really accepting of anyone that wants to follow it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but anyway, so obviously you've had some videos more recently that have like blown up a little bit and stuff. What's your take on this whole famous like tarot reader on TikTok? What is that? Because I see it on my FYP, but I don't actually know what's going on. Maybe I'm
You're talking about Alex Reed's tarot, I'm
yes,
guessing.
yeah.
Right. So to catch up those people who are not in the know, I didn't actually know who the fuck this Alex Reed's tarot person was until a couple of weeks ago, and then everyone's fucking talking about her. But from what I understand, I did recognize her sort of when I went onto her profile. She was a tarot reader on TikTok that did a lot of what are called collective readings,
Okay.
which are basically where there's a tarot reader and they post lots of videos on the algorithm or whatever, and they say things like, if you're watching this video and it's a Wednesday, this message is for you. And then they'll pull some cards and they'll say something dramatic, and they get loads and loads of people engaging because it resonates in some way. And it looks really impressive when you've got somebody like Alex, who had almost 1 million followers, who has loads of people resonating with what they're saying. And so, yeah, I've got my own issues with collective readings that I'll probably rant about in a minute, because that's a whole thing. But Alex basically did a load of those kind of videos. And then a couple of weeks ago, she posted a video. Well, she deleted all of her other videos, or unlisted all of her other videos, and then posted a video where she was saying that she's leaving the world of tarot and is hanging up her cards and has become a Christian, basically. She's and she sort of mentioned that it had been a journey that she'd been going on for about a year or so, and yeah, and then a lot of people were understandably a bit surprised by that. There was a lot of emotions. A lot of people had obviously come to rely on her readings, the collective readings that she did. A lot of people had built quite a strong, like, parasocial relationship with her, felt this sort of connection to her. And then so when she sort of makes this decision to leave the world of tarot, they sort of have taken it as almost like a personal affront or something, which is just bollocks. Like, come on. But also, and this is the thing that I think I mentioned in the video that you watched where I was talking about this, there's a certain subset of tarot readers on TikTok who have taken that news and have decided to do one of two things. They'll either just speculate on why she's done it, like, oh, there was a man involved. Oh, if you look at the video, you can see there's a shadow in the corner of somebody looking over her shoulder, or a demonic presence, or all of this stuff, which is just like, fucking shut up. That's just speculation and gossip, and it's none of your fucking business. Like, if she's left because of a man, or because she was stopped in the street by blinding white light and Jesus came down to her and gave her a vision, or whether she's just gone through some questioning of her own and come to that decision herself. Like, it's none of your fucking business. It's her journey, and she's made that choice. And just because she has built a profile doing something doesn't mean that she owes anybody continuing that. But also, what I've seen, and this is what really annoyed me, is that tarot readers have been using their cards to try to publicly, on videos, do a reading to try and see what's going on, why she's done this, and all of this stuff, which is just fucking creepy. Like, if you think that tarot has any kind of power and can tell you sort of like the insights into what's going on in somebody's life, and you're doing that without their fucking permission, that is fucking gross. Like, I don't see the difference between that and like me getting a pair of binoculars and like hiding in the bushes outside your house and like creeping on you in the window. Like,
it's like a witch.
It's fucking creepy. It's weird. And like, it's at the end of the day, like, if she's left tarot, that's her fucking business. It's not your business. And like, stop projecting so much onto other people. But like the culture that she built around her readings was a lot of the tarot culture that I just think is fucking gross anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said about the collective readings, like if you understand anything about how a social media algorithm works, um, like when you post a video,
Yeah.
it doesn't just analyze like what you write in the description or the hashtags that you're using. It literally analyzes like every single frame of the video, if there's any text on the screen or any obviously sort of identifiable things. Like if you were doing a video of you sat there right now, it would probably identify the fact that a dog in the just that would become part of the metadata of the video. So people who like dogs might be served that video because there's a
Yeah.
dog in it. So if I'm doing a tarot reading on thing, and I even if I'm genuinely doing it and I'm saying like, oh, I'm doing this reading and I pull some cards and it looks like you're going through a breakup, this person's really been like, and if I start saying stuff immediately, TikTok or Facebook or Instagram is analyzing that video and serving it to people that it thinks is gonna react well to that video.
Yeah.
And then of the people that it serves it to, the people that react are then the sample of who it sends it out in the next wave of things. And so what Alex was doing in these collective readings, she was, and I don't know for certain, but she was likely talking about and talking to a similar demographic of people who had similar sort of pain points or insecurities or whatever. And because her readings would often probably cover the same kind of topic or the same kind of area, heartbreak, breakup, divorce, upset, dating advice, all of that kind of shit, it's getting served to the same people. The people who it doesn't resonate with are just scrolling on, they're not engaging, but the people who it makes sense to are engaging. It makes Alex thinks like she's got a real big gift at something that maybe she hasn't. And again, like I'm not speculating on Alex here, I'm just using Alex as an example, but any person who does collective, I used to do them. And I used to feel like this real sense of, oh my gosh, this video is really connecting with people. I must be a really good tarot reader. And it's like, no, I'm not a really good tarot reader. I just made it very clear that this was a reading for people going through breakups. And I told them exactly what they wanted to hear. And so they resonated with it. And in reality, like a social media algorithm choosing who your video is being shown to is not a fucking tarot reading. It's just content doing what content does.
Yeah.
And the thing that really made me recognize how bad this is, and like basically stopped me from doing these kinds of readings was a few years ago. There was there's a tarot reader out there. Fuck it, I'm going to name them because I don't care. Chris Riley, psychic. You might have seen his posts. He's got this. It's basically turned into this like organization that's basically like using his face. But from what I've read, like a lot of the readings that are sent out, like people just sort of buy them and then they're basically just sent like an email reading, randomized. That's the same kind of shit that's sent to like 100 other people or something. But anyway, he posted a Instagram advert. So he was paying for people to see this advert. And it started by saying, if you're watching this video, the universe has a message for you. And it's like, no, Chris, they're watching this video because you fucking paid Meta to put that video on the people that you've targeted screens. You fucking liar. Fuck off. Sorry, I'm getting it pisses me off.
No, you're right, you're fine.
Shit like this just gets to me because it's people who are like manipulating an algorithm to target vulnerable people to tell them what they want to hear so that then they can book a more deep reading and whatever. And I just think it's disgusting. Like at the end of the day, when I'm doing tarot readings, I'm doing it for the person in front of me. I'm not doing it for like 100 people. And if 50 people resonate, then that's amazing. Because that's just cold reading. That's no different to me writing a horoscope in the fucking sun. Like, it's just bollocks.
What would you say to someone that's like never had a reading before or that's like a bit skeptical of having a tarot reading? What would you tell them?
So firstly, I would say tarot like a tarot reading, having a tarot reading done is sort of like having your portrait painted. Like if you go and have your portrait painted, and yeah, and depending on the level of the artist, assume that this is like just world-class artists. Even then, you're still going to get a very different experience depending on the kind of artist that you go to.
Yeah.
Like if I get my portrait painted by an artist like fucking Picasso, I'm going to come out of it and I'm going to be like, what the fuck is that? Because it looks nothing like me. Whereas if I go to an artist like, insert the name of an artist who does really good lifelike art pieces. I don't know, if I went to Monet and asked him to paint me a portrait, he'd just paint a picture of a fucking like bowl of fruit or something. Or like if I went to Rembrandt and I got him to paint me a portrait, it'll probably be a really beautiful portrait. I think I've done my. Or if I went to Andy Warhol, it would be like a packet of beans with my face on it or something. The point that I'm making is that like a tarot reading on its own could be all kinds of different shit. The way that I read tarot is very different to maybe the way that you think of when you think of tarot. So when I pull the cards for somebody, I'm not trying to predict what's going to happen in their future, because I think that I don't think the future is fixed. Like the choices that I make today will affect the day that I have tomorrow.
Yeah.
My day tomorrow is not fixed. If tonight I decide that I'm going to sleep in my bathtub, I'll probably wake up tomorrow with a really sore neck because I'm in my mid-30s. And if I sleep in any way other than just flat on my back, my neck hurts like a bitch the next morning. Whereas if I sleep in a cryogenic tube where my body isn't able to move, I probably won't have any pain. The point that I'm making is, I don't know if I'm making a point here. I've kind of lost my train of thought. Yeah, the future is not fixed. The future is up for grabs, essentially. And so when I'm doing a reading, I find it much more helpful to explore what's going on under the surface in people's lives.
Yeah.
So the cards that we pull maybe will start a conversation about what's blocking you emotionally, or where your mind is unable to let go of a particular thing. Why is that happening? It sparks a conversation. So it's really just us having an honest conversation about what's going on in your life. And the cards are just a prompt for that. But I always say to people, if what I've said sounds like rubbish, then fucking tell me. I'm not going to be offended. I believe that tarot is a conversation, like I said. So if something that I say I pull a card like, the death card here, I've just pulled from the top of my deck.
Right.
Like typically this card relates to endings. So I might say, if I was putting this for you, so Izzy, has anything ended in your life recently? And you might say, no, nothing's ended.
Yeah.
That's obviously, I wouldn't try and say, oh, but, think about it. Like something must have ended, because that's like me trying to force this card onto you in that way. But I might say like, oh, okay, well, what do you think maybe needs to end? What are you resisting ending?
Yeah.
Where are you not allowing things to finish? Because, and I'll usually relate to like what the imagery is saying. So if you can look on the image here, you can see that there's, at the bottom, there's like this baby, then there's some parents, a grandparent, and then like a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
It's showing the different stages of life. And so we can then have a conversation about like, where are you sort of at in life? Where are you maybe resisting moving from one stage to another? Maybe you're moving into, if we're to take sort of the imagery on the card literally, maybe you are just becoming a parent, but you're still acting like a baby. Or maybe your kids are having kids, but you're now having to be sort of a different, your role is changing in some way. You're no longer just the parent, you're now the grandparent, you're now the babysitter, or whatever it is. So like it's recognizing those changes and just having that conversation. And more often than not, I find that even if I pull a spread of cards at the start of a reading and I look at them, a lot of the time I'll look at the cards and I'll think, this makes no fucking sense. But by the time I finish the conversation with the person in front of me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how that works. And if you try and get me to try and explain scientifically how it works, I'm probably not going to get very far, because I don't think it is something that necessarily makes rational sense. But it just fucking works. We are meaning making machines. We enjoy finding meaning and finding patterns in the universe, and tarot helps us to do that. But whether it is caused by some kind of spiritual energy or some kind of god or just random chance, I don't fucking know, and I don't think it really matters. All I know is it works. But if you are skeptical, give it a go. If you book a reading with me and at the end of it you're like, God, that was the waste of my time, I'll give you a refund. Just say that you came from the Chronically Offline podcast.
Yeah, insert socials here. Do you want to tell us your handles to your social medias?
Sure. While we're here, yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Threads, X, although I never post on there, and basically Blue Sky, all of the social medias, just at Tarot with God, TAROT WITHGORD. My name is Gord, not God. A lot of people seem to think my name's God. It's not. Don't feed my Messiah complex any more than it already has been. Yeah, so like, and if anyone who is listening does want a reading, if you use the discount code Chronic, you can save 10% off. We'll say 10% on the reading.
I'll put it on the screen somewhere. I'll get Mason to edit somewhere. Oh.
Yes, CHRONIC. Do you want me to do a little cheeky reading for you now?
If you want to, I think that'd be a really cool addition to the video if you're comfortable with it. God, just something quick, just...
Of course.
Thank you. It's been some time.
So I will say, I say this to everybody. Obviously, I said earlier, I don't predict the future. But also, Izzy, I don't sugarcoat my readings.
No.
So that does mean that it could be a really lovely reading. It could be really wonderful and sunshine and rainbows and everything's amazing. Or it could call you out on all of the shit that you need to deal with. So we'll see what comes up. But obviously, if at any point you're like, God, I don't want this broadcasted, then just say the safe word.
You're all right. I'd get Mason to cut it. You're all good.
So I've split the deck into 3 piles after shuffling it, Izzy. Could you just let me know if you want me to draw from pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3?
Pile 3.
Okie doke. So I usually start each reading with a little guided meditation. Do you want me to do that, or do you think it would be a bit weird for the listeners?
We're all right. You're all right. I think I'm pretty chill anyway. You're good. I do some meditation anyway, so you're good.
Okay.
I think we're in a pretty good headspace right now, so...
Well, we'll see what it's like in 5 minutes once this reading's over. So the cards that I pulled for you are the 10 of Wands, the Page of Swords, and the Knight of Wands.
Okay.
So the wands in tarot are the suit that relates to your passions, the things that energize you. It's the fire elements. It's the things that light you up, that get you excited. But the 10 of Wands is typically a sign that we are at or approaching burnout.
Well, that does surprise how it's burnout.
This comes up.
Yeah.
Usually my advice to people is you need to recognize that if you try and continue at the rate that you are, then you will burn out. So what can you put down so that you're not overexerting yourself to the point where you can't keep going? Or what can you do to ease that burden on other, like, maybe share that burden around or something like that? Can you think what that might be relating to in your life, or where you maybe could be putting things down that you're stubbornly refusing to?
I mean, there's plenty in there. I mean, I'm a busy person as it is. I know I could probably calm down with the things that I can't try and control in the house when it comes to just like tasks around the house. I could, like I get the boyfriend, so I was like, Izzy, you don't need to do that right now. You can chill out, Izzy, chill out. And then like I'll get to like a Friday and I'm there like, crying because I'm like that burnt out or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, oh my god, my brain's like a scrambled egg. There is stuff I definitely need to chill out with just to make some more time for myself, for sure.
Yeah, I would say just like put down anything that is in the way right now because
You,
your
I'm
energy
kidding.
is precious. Bye.
Oh my god.
Um, but no, seriously though, your energy is precious, and like if you continue to waste energy on things that are not important, then you're not going to have the energy for the things that are.
No, that's true.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, the next card that's come out is the Page of Swords.
Okay.
Now, pages in tarot, I like to think of as like the enthusiastic kid.
Yeah.
They are really interested in exploring, learning, answering questions, learning new things, understanding new things. And if you look at the card, my camera's mirrored, so it's really hard for me to see which one's which. But you can see this figure here.
Yeah.
They've got a book in their hand, and their head is in the book. And so I see this swords relate to the way that we think about things and speak about things. And so the Page of Swords is really you being open to learning new things and being open to understanding. And one lesson that I learned quite early on in my journey was that the more the the more that I went through life and realized the things that I thought I was certain of were not true, the more I realized that the only thing I can be certain of is the fact that I won't know anything for certain.
Yeah.
And that I'm probably going to change my mind on something down the line. And actually just being open to changing your mind, to being flexible in your thinking can be quite helpful. And I wonder whether maybe in some of these things where you think, oh, I need to hold on to this, I need to put this down, maybe there's some things where if you just thought outside the box a little bit, you might have a bit of a better way forwards.
Which
But
is
the
what
last
you're
card
doing,
for
to be
you.
fair. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's good.
well, like
So
even just the content on like here, I'm obviously doing a lot more on YouTube, like going live and stuff. We're trying different things these days, so
yeah,
that would explain stuff. So
but hold on to those ideas loosely. Like if you try something and it doesn't work,
that's
don't
okay.
like
Yeah.
really try and make it work. Just learn from it, move on to the next thing, and be open to learning new things. But then the last card here, this Knight of Wands in here. Wands in tarot, like I said, it's the fire element. They just go after whatever it is that they're after. And this relates to you chasing your passions, chasing your dreams, chasing what it is that you want, and having that impulsivity and following that impulsivity. And part of you needs to be impulsive, and the advice that I always give with this card and with impulsivity in general is just make sure before you dive that there's water in the pool.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is dive thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do a somersault and all of these tricks and all of this stuff. And then you land on fucking concrete because you've not checked that there's actually water in the pool beneath you. And in the same way, like if you're diving into something, just make sure that it's not going to fuck up in your face.
Yeah.
Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that's really good. It sounds good, that God. Thank you, yeah.
And has it been helpful?
Yes, I would say so. It's because it's not like the way I like you when you read cards and stuff. It's not like over dramatized. You know what I mean? That's what I like. I feel like it's a lot more realistic than a lot of people are when they read cards. You know, I don't know. That's what to me that makes it more skeptical.
Yeah.
It's when you like when people try and clutch for straws. Is it you know what I'm trying to say? I think you probably do.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I'm just drawing a couple of oracle cards for you as well.
Thank you.
The first one I've got is Knock Knock Chick Tock.
Okay.
And this one, I'm just noticing like there's all of these like symbols, like there's an infinity symbol, and then does that say 666, 555, another infinity? It's all of these things that people often look for things like angel numbers, or you can see the time there is like 3:33. It's these things that we look for and we notice. But I think it's just about being aware of like what you're noticing and what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
Because Like if you're going throughout your day and all you're noticing is, oh, well, that's on the floor, that should be there, that's here, that should be here, and you're focusing on all of this stuff that's like, oh, this is wrong or whatever, then that's going to affect your mentality. That's going to affect your energy. Whereas if you're going through the day and you're like, oh, the sun's shining, oh, this is beautiful, then that changes the way that you are. Like a lot of people talk about manifestation, and it's given this sort of rap of it. It's this whole thing of like, I'm going to manifest a new car, and so I'm going to look in the mirror every morning. And I'm going to say, I'm going to get a new car. I'm going to get a new car. I'm going to get a new car. You might even say the name of the car that you want, like, I'm going to get a Ford Focus. I'm going to get a Ford Focus. I'm going to get a Ford Focus. I don't know why the fuck you'd be manifesting a Ford Focus, but I want a Ford Focus. And then people think that that's all that you need to do in order to get a fucking Ford Focus. And if you say that enough, one will fucking appear on your drive and everything will be amazing.
Yeah.
That's not how manifestation works. But if you you wake up in the morning and look at yourself and you say, like, I'm going to nail this job interview. I'm going to nail this job interview. That person's not going to know what's hit them. They're going to look at me and they're going to think this is the best fucking person for that job because I'm fucking incredible. You're talking yourself up, and that means that you're manifesting getting that job because you're putting yourself in the mindset of that you've already got it. Yeah. So when you walk into the job interview, you're like, yeah, I'm the best person for this job because I'm fucking amazing and all of this stuff. And they'll give you the job. Whereas if you look in the mirror and you go, oh, I'm rubbish, I'm useless, I'm never going to get this job, they're going to be focused on the fact that my nose ring is all here and my hair's a mess, this stuff. And that's what you're going to be giving off. And you're not going to get the job because you're giving off this non-confidence. So look for things and make sure that what you're focusing on, remember what you're focusing on is what you're drawing in. And the next one is the Divine Mother. Right. And I see the Divine Mother as relating to both sort of like source energy, God, Mother Nature, etc., but also just being out there in nature, in creation, and just touching grass. Which for somebody who is as chronically offline as you,
try to be,
that must be something that you do all the time. You probably eat the grass, lick the grass, rub your face on the grass, all of that. Little grass face mask.
Yeah, literally.
But no, get into nature and really immerse yourself in nature. If you find that the hot tub's getting too hot and your burnout is getting a bit too much, ground yourself.
Yeah. I've always got a lot going on anyway, and I mean, I have been stressing more about stuff lately anyway, and it's just juggling. Even in this household, we're all just dealing with stuff at the minute, and we're all just trying to learn to like juggle things and find ways we can intertwine. So it's really helpful.
A good tip if you're wanting to learn to juggle, I learned this at my sister's wedding. Apparently, if you imagine there's a square in front of you,
right,
and you're trying to throw stuff to the corner of, like, to the opposite corner of that square. So, like, if I've got these pens, theoretically, I just need to imagine a square in front of me, and then I throw this one, and then like that. So that's Juggling with God, coming soon to TikTok near you.
Wow.
But yeah, thank you for having me. If you want a tarot reading, head to tarotwithgod.com, use the code chronic to get 10% off. I also have a membership. If you are wanting to build a relationship with the cards, you can become a member. We meet every week for a little circle, get together, read cards together. Or if you are learning from scratch, I have a course starting on the 1st of September. You can find more details on my website about that. And I'm running a free workshop on the 28th of August, I think. It's the last Sunday in August. It's a free workshop on how to ask your tarot cards better questions. Completely free. Just head to my website to book on, and it'll be great.
Thank you everyone for watching today. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.